Hi, I'm going to explain the union and intersections of intervals. So in both of these examples we're going to do, they are sets of real numbers. So that means they include all the decimals, all the fractions, all the irrational numbers like square root of 3 and pi, all of those, okay? So this first set of numbers is called F, and this is set notation here, and this means W such that W is less than or equal to 3. So it's basically saying all the numbers that are less than or equal to 3. And set H is all the numbers that are greater than 7. W such that W is greater than 7. So what we want for the intersection is just numbers that work for both of these. This is called the intersection. And if you think about the intersection where two streets cross, the intersection is when you're standing on both streets, okay, at the same time. So the intersection here are numbers that are in this set and in this set. So the important word here is and. Which numbers are less than or equal to 3 and greater than 7? Now, if you look at a number line, which I always like to do, if I go less than or equal to 3, that's about right here. And we shade in, of course, because it's equal to 3 or greater than 7. Look at this. Is there any number that is less than and equal to 3 or equal to 3 or greater? No, and greater than 7? No, there isn't any. So this is the empty set. That means it's no solution. Okay. Now, if we're doing U, that stands for union. And that we think of or. We think of like the United States of America is a union of states. If you live in Utah or Nevada or Arizona, notice how I say or every time, or California or Idaho, et cetera, you are in the United States. So this one, or, is what we want to do when we see U for union. So we look at our two sets and I like to look at the graph. We want any number that's less than or equal to 3 or bigger than 7. So that's everything, right? Now we want to write it in interval notation. And interval notation is when we use parentheses for less thans or greater thans that are not equal to. We also use them for infinities and negative infinities. And then we use brackets to show if it is equal to, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. So in this case, I would write this using interval notation. Start at the very lowest number, which is, it goes on forever. So it's negative infinity, and that will have a parenthesis by it. And just go right along your number line till you stop. See, it stops right here. So 3, but it includes 3. So I write 3, and then I use a bracket to show that it can be equal to 3. And then I use this same symbol, U, for union. And then I start right here. Now we can't have it equal to 7. So we're going to use a parenthesis, 7 to infinity parenthesis. And that's how you do that problem. Now this one will be slightly different. This one was kind of funky because you had the no solution part. Now let's see what happens on this example. All right, so let's first draw that number line so we can see what we have here. Whoops, I forgot a Y. There was a Y right there. Y is greater than 4. So that's going to be an empty circle, greater than 4. And Y is less than or equal to 8. Oh, I need a longer number line this way, huh? We'll put 8 over here. And Y is less than or equal to 8. So this one is Y is greater than 4. That's everything, right? All the way to the right. And this one, I'm just going to do it up a little higher, can be equal to 8, but it's less than. So it's everything that way, right? Okay, so now we're going to do our intersection. Remember, this one means and. Which numbers are greater than 4 and less than or equal to 8? And that means they're in both of these sets. So it's only right here where they're both shaded. So interval notation will be from 4 to 8. And then you use a bracket because you want to include 8. another way to write this, though Alex wants you to write it as an interval, would be to just write your variable. I guess it'd be y in this case. Y is less than or equal to 8, but bigger than 4. So that would be the other way to write it using set notation, but they want you to write it using interval notation. Okay. Now let's look at the union, which remember union is the same as or. Is it if it's greater than 4 or less than or equal to 8? It's part of our set. So everything's up here is greater than 4. Everything here is less than 8. Every number is either less than 8 or greater than 4. So this goes from negative infinity to infinity, or some might say all real numbers. All right, and that's how you do union and intersections of intervals.